دوستان با درودی فراوان به برنامه مام تاک مادر و کودک خوش آمدید. برنامه‌ای که صرفاً در رابطه با آوردن گفتمان‌های خودمانی هستش، خودمونی بین مادرایی که در جامعه در کامیونیتیمون فعال هستن، مادرانی که دلیرانه به اصطلاح در رابطه با پرورش صلح، ارتقای صلح فعالیت میکنن. دوستان عزیزی در این برنامه میان و برنامه‌های ویژه‌ای رو که دارن نسبت به پرورش صلح، آموزش صلح، ارتقای صلح، صلح درون، صلح بیرون، اینا همه با هم مربوط میشه و یک کامیونیتی به قول معروف قوی‌تری و با هم بودن بهتری رو به وجود میاره در این جامعه‌ای که ما اینجا زندگی میکنیم که بیشتر دهکده جهانی هستش. امروز خیلی خوشحال هستم که دو میهمان گرامی رو خدمتتون معرفی بکنم. میهمان عزیزی که در استودیو داریم که ایشون در برنامه‌های قبلی مام تاک هم همیشه هستن و میان و من شخصا که خیلی لذت میبرم، خیلی میخندم و روز خوبی رو دارم هر موقع دوست عزیز و گرامی لیز سپادک اینجا هستش. ایشون فاوندر و تأسیس گذار به اصطلاح گروه بزرگی به اسم Warrior Moms هستند که ایشون یک کامیونیتی آنلاینی به وجود آوردن که چندین هزار ممبر داره و مادرانی که عضو این کامیونیتی Warrior Moms هستن اگر یه موقع پروژه‌ای دارن، کاری انجام میدن، یه ترایبی میخوان به قول معروف شروع بکنن، با همدیگه همکاری بکنن، بدبستان شغلی داشته باشن، همکاری اجتماعی بکنن و خدماتی بکنن، اینها در چارچوب سرویس و ایژوکیشن و کمک رسانی و به خصوص women empowerment، ارتقاء توانبخشی و توانمندی در زنان به خصوص مادران، ایشون مدیریت این گروه رو دارن و این سازماندهی و از دوستان بسیار بسیار دیرینه من هستن. سالیان سال با هم همدیگر رو میشناسیم و بچه هامون با هم بزرگ شدن. خانم لیز سپادک, welcome to Mom Talk.
Thank you. I brought you my mom, my wet hair from rain hair. I
Yes.
wanted to see if you liked it. I don't know.
Both of us.
It's not really
Both of
working
us.
well. It's pouring rain.
Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough.
No, it's good enough. What can you do?
Not
It's raining.
so perfect, right?
Not so
not
perfect.
so perfect.
Hashtag not so perfect. Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Mom Talk.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about what it means to empower families. And within the context of empowering families, empowering women, empowering children, we thought that we would have Peter Martineau, who is the Director of Marketing at the Aquarium of the Pacific, Long Beach, join us and tell us more about what it means to celebrate children at the aquarium. He has been running this show and directing programs, international programs of children at the Aquarium of the Pacific, Long Beach. If we could show the website for those of you who have not been to the Long Beach Aquarium, it is just spectacular. It's one of our kids' favorite time of the year because they not only get to go and learn about ocean life and learn and explore what it means to help the ocean life, what it means to take
conservationist.
Conservationist.
Yeah, I learned about conservation and pollution and how to not pollute the waters and take care of the animals. Yes.
Exactly. So, and it is a family affair. It's a day in celebration of children from around the world. It's a global day, Global Citizenship Day. And Peter, welcome to Mom Talk.
Hello, Dr. Nelly.
Welcome. It's such an honor to have you on Mom Talk this morning, and we are just sharing what it's been like to host wonderful children's programs at the aquarium for the past several years and join this beautiful day on International Children's Day.
Well, yeah, it really is a wonderful celebration because in many ways it's the culmination of all of our festivals. We do a number of cultural festivals here at the aquarium that highlight cultures from all around the world. And this is a special one because it has multiple cultures. And it's, of course, it's special because it's celebrating the children in our lives. And of course, when we think about the ocean and taking care of the ocean for the future, who are we doing it for? It's for the children, right? Because they're going to grow up and they need to have a healthy planet, and a healthy planet depends on a healthy ocean.
Right, right.
I think hi, it's Liz. I'm here with Nelly too today. I would say,
Liz.
How are you? I would say that getting kids involved as soon as possible, having them take responsibility and ownership, quite frankly, of the fact that, you know, we have a lot to do with, you know, what laws are passed and what kind of choices we make, you know, by doing things to help out in the community. Beach cleanups, different things can really affect conservation and ocean life. So I love that you do these cultural days because I think it also makes kids feel like, oh gosh, they see me, they see my culture, they understand me. It's just another way to bring kids in as soon as possible.
That's for sure. You know, there's a connection that you get at the aquarium, and one of the great things about the cultural festivals, especially this one where you see multiple cultures, is that you get to celebrate diversity. You see how beautiful it is that we're not all the same, and what a wonderful thing it is that we can hear different music, see the different dances, try out the different crafts that we have there. We have so many, such a variety, really, at this festival. We're very fortunate. In fact, we have Persian, as you know. We have this beautiful show featuring the music and art and the PeaceLearning of the Persian culture. We have West African dance, Mexican, Pacific Islander, and then a whole variety from Asia. There's Cambodian, Chinese, Korean, Japanese. And just last year we added a couple European groups. We now have an Irish dance group, and we have a Slovak and Czech dance group.
That's great.
So
That's great.
We're all over the globe, and it celebrates. We get to really, appreciate the diversity of our children and our planet. The performers at this festival are all children, and
what ages are the perforers?
Well, they're 17 and under, so
oh, wow.
You see, but a lot of them are very young. That's the great thing, and then you see some that are a little older. So you get a variety there in the ages, but it's all children, and we not only have the dancers, but we have cultural crafts that the children can participate in. We have a Pacific Islander booth where the kids can do basket weaving and play some of the traditional Hawaiian games, get a Hawaiian tattoo. We have a Native American, a Shumash Native American, who teaches children how to braid a bracelet. And this is the same materials and same methods that have been used by the Shumash tribe, which is from just up north of us in the Santa Barbara area. And so it's really wonderful. There's also Japanese origami. So a little, variety there in the craft making. And as I said, the diversity that we have at this festival in many ways is kind of symbolic of the diversity in the ocean, where, when you look, isn't it wonderful that all the fish don't look exactly the same? When you come to the aquarium, you see every different color and shape and size. You see fish, you see otters and sea lions and sharks and all different kinds of animals, and it makes you appreciate how wonderful it is that there is diversity in this world, and we all, the ocean life and us, there are also things that we have in common, and that's the other side of it. As in addition to us all being different, we all have areas where we're the same, or things that we share in common.
Absolutely.
And one of the most important of those, of course, is the ocean. We all depend on it for survival. So as you said, we got to all pitch in together and make sure it's there for our children.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Peter, I know when I've brought the kids, or we've produced programs together with children, they really own this day. There is ownership of this program being theirs. I know with our show, the Persian Nowruz PeaceLearning Spring Show, there is a lot of ownership in sharing the message of peace that is embedded within Nowruz, and this growth mindset that is celebrated as the beginning of spring, and how it's celebrated in many countries and across the globe. So it's really, Nowruz is a type of celebration that brings many countries together. It's one time when it's not a religious celebration and it's not a specific region celebration. It's celebrated by many countries. And so the kids really own that message. They like to share that message. They talk about what it means for them to find common grounds in multiple cultures. And just, I know just the dance that they do and how they create those circles of peace and bring together, celebration of colors and art and music. And so you've created this ambiance where they have ownership to produce this performance, but then they have the rest of the day to go and join in with other groups of children who have produced many beautiful, beautiful performances. And in joining those performances, they're integrating, they're connecting the dots, like you said, to not just other cultures, but ocean life and what it means, the important message of peace and peace learning, how we cultivate peace by taking those small steps and acts of kindness in conservation and taking care of animals and doing something for planet Earth and not being indifferent about it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so thank you for this opportunity. I know this is our 5th annual celebration of Nowruz at the aquarium, and we are so honored to be part of this and to have been invited by the aquarium. Thank you for including us in our community. And for the viewers who are interested in joining, can you give us the details, the date, the time, how they would go about getting tickets, and some details so that those who are interested can join on Sunday?
Okay, well, but first I want to say, Dr. Nelly, thank you for coming and for bringing Persian culture to the aquarium. That really means a lot to us, and it really adds so much color and knowledge, and it helps, like you say, help people embrace the experience and feel like, okay, more people now come to the aquarium and say this is for all of us. So that's something we really appreciate. You're a part of that.
Thank you.
And as far as the dates, the festival's this weekend, so it's March 17th and 18th. and the hours are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's the festival hours. We're actually open till 6 p.m. But we strongly encourage you to come early because parking gets a little crazy as the day goes on. So if you're going to be arriving midday afternoon, just plan on taking a little longer to get parking and all that. So I always encourage folks. Also, you're going to see a lot more. There's a lot of wonderful restaurants, and there's the harbor right here. So you can take a break in the middle of the day, go out, lay on the, there's a little park with a lighthouse. So plenty to do in the area to spend the day here. We hope you'll come on down early and have lots of time to see the shows, to visit the animals, and to really take it all in. There's really a lot going on, and you're going to see that there's way more that you can ever do in one day. So we encourage you to consider getting a membership so that you can come back. It's one of the greatest values around. Do your shopping and you'll see that. And speaking of that, good values, you can go to our website and get a coupon for free child admission with a paid adult. That'll save you $17.95.
Wonderful.
And that coupon can be used right on your phone. You don't even have to print it. So you go to aquariumofpacific.org and just do a search there for International Children's Festival, and it'll pop up, and look for that coupon. It's right there on the page, and that page also has the full schedule of all the programming. And make sure you don't miss the Persian show, which is on Sunday at 12:30. That's a must-see, right?
Yes. It's a must-see. It's bound to bring more peace into your homes and into your hearts. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the kids are super excited.
As I said, a great pleasure to have you come and bring Persian culture. And, every time we bring a new culture in, like as I said last year, we brought in Irish dance, then Slovak and Czech. My wife is from the Czech Republic. And so it was just really, that, like you say, that ownership to see, all of the people of her heritage there, and discovering the aquarium and saying, wow, this is amazing. What happens at the aquarium is you fall in love with the ocean. And that's when we talked about our mission, the first part is to instill a sense of wonder, because as soon as you fall in love with something, what happens? What do you want to do with that? You want to take care of it. Yeah. And that's, that's how it works.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So fall in love with the ocean and
other cultures.
Give back and other cultures and find relatedness. It's a great time to find relatedness. It's not just about awareness anymore. It's how do we relate and connect and cultivate deeper connection to each other. And thank you for this opportunity. We're so excited. We can't wait to celebrate. And it is that time of the year. It's Nowruz and spring and International Children's Day at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach. Thank you, Peter Martineau, for this wonderful introduction and invitation for all of you. Please join. Go to the website. If we can have the website up one more time, go log on and look up the International Children's Day event. There is free admissions for children. And it's
with
just
a paid adult.
Yeah, with the paid adult.
International Children's Festival. We used to call it International Children's Day. So
International Children's Festival.
Children's Festival.
And we will post it on MomTalk LA as well. And we will spread this wonderful celebration and invite everyone to join. It's a celebration not to be missed. Great peace learning leadership opportunity. And thank you again, Peter Martineau from the Aquarium of the Pacific.
Thank you, Dr. Nelly. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
All right, till Sunday. Bye now.
I'll see you then.
See you then. Bye. Bye now. All right, so we have this wonderful celebration for all moms and dads to come and join. It's a great family affair. Like I said, you don't want to miss it. Great opportunity, and lots of wonderful restaurants and places to just hang out with the family. Whenever we go, it's an all-day event, and it's kind of nice that you're out of town, for those of you who live in LA, because you're away. It's like a staycation, and you get to connect with ocean life and just get lost in jellyfish.
Yes, which you can easily do, by the way.
Yeah, right?
They're so beautiful. They're like art.
I know.
You know,
It's
the
so
way they move so
mesmerizing.
slow, you just, when you're a tired mother, looking at a jellyfish is like going to Maui.
Yeah.
Looking at a
Yes.
jellyfish for 5 minutes and getting just a moment
Yes.
of peace without children
Yes.
screaming is
Yes.
like going to Hawaii.
Yes, yes. And
That's
I've
right.
done it. And we've done it. So
We've done it.
You
We've
should
done
try
it together.
You should definitely
You should give it a
try
whirl.
Give it a try. Yeah. The sea otters, oh, the cutest.
Oh, they're so
cutest,
cute. They're so cute.
And yeah, so this is a very special time of the year. And I know, Liz, you're always open and excited about learning about different nationalities, different cultural
absolutely.
celebrations. Warrior Moms is about that. It's very collective, you know, lots of different cultures, global citizenship in your online community. And so it's important because everyone feels that they have a place and they belong and they're being seen and there's sharing of cultures, right? I know for the second, third generations, we were talking about this, you said, well, it's funny because none of us are really, you know, truly.
I mean, when we celebrate our cultures, I mean, we're not really like saying, go USA, right? We're saying, oh, no, my parents are from France, that my parents are from Germany, my parents are Persian, my great-grandparents came here from, you know, everybody came from somewhere. So we all have a lot of culture. And
heritage,
And you're
yeah.
so good about celebrating that, which is so amazing. You really are good about that, about celebrating that with your kids and making sure they know. And I try to do it. My husband's also from the Czech Republic. It's funny that Peter's wife is from the Czech Republic, so my husband's from the Czech Republic. I have to force him. I'm like, it's St. Joseph's Day. Isn't this a day your people like? This is your day. And I make him do the food, and I make him talk about it because, you know, I don't know a lot about it, but I feel like the kids need to know about that. You know, I think it's good to kind of share, you know, all of that with them and make them feel like they're part of something. And then also have them respect other kids and what they're part of and learn about their culture. It's exciting. I feel like that's really an exciting thing to do with kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's exciting. It elevates and empowers the family members. I know when our kids celebrate Go Global Week or they celebrate some sort of international week and own, even trying different cultural heritage, you know, backgrounds, because in our family, you know, we did the DNA analysis,
The 23andMe.
23andMe,
So did we.
right? So then we now have this map, the DNA map of all the different cultural heritage that we have.
Yeah.
So apparently we have like some Asian, some Indian, some Native American,
Right.
so very diverse. And African, you know, European, Italian, all over the place. And so what we're doing now is just laying out the different backgrounds and different heritages that we can honor and celebrate and get curious about and wonder. Like Peter was saying, part of this coming into celebrating diversity is this beautiful journey of wondering. So when we go to the aquarium, it's true, we have the Nowruz, you know, festivities and celebration, but more than beyond Nowruz, we love wandering into other cultural heritage backgrounds and rituals and celebrations and what it means to learn a new skill and a new, you know, craft and new art and music and to be immersed in it. So it is that wondering that gives it meaning.
Absolutely.
And we're warrior moms for wondering, and we
Yes.
love to wonder and we love to learn.
And even thinking about just from a mom perspective too, and kind of trying to kind of, I mean, I think what we're saying is we want every voice to be heard, right? It would be a boring world if there was just one culture and one group talking all the time and you never heard or experienced other groups and cultures. And just like that, that's what we try to kind of do at Warrior Moms too, is I'm always trying to kind of expose moms to other stories of moms doing either incredible things or going through really tough circumstances. We always want to have more contributors contributing to the Warrior Moms because we want to hear those voices. And I don't want to just hear my voice. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you've been through and what you've learned and how you're living, or if you're struggling. I want to know that. So I feel like, you know, hearing other voices is really, whether they're children's voices or their mom voices or their dad voices, I mean, hearing other voices and experiences is like, that's what makes life rich and fantastic.
Absolutely. And so when you have those mom talk conversations, whether you're getting together after school or for lunch or a special gathering, take a risk, take a chance, go beyond fear. Get fearless, get bold, and raising the bar. Having higher expectations and opening up those conversations, because sometimes we're afraid, especially as moms, as super moms. I think we feel like we wear the super cape, the cape, right?
Cape
the invisible cape.
Yes,
I see
it's
it
right there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
And so we're afraid sometimes. I know I am, to get vulnerable.
Or to bring up a sensitive topic too. I think it's like we talked about this, but I just showed my kids the 50-50. The 50-50 day is coming soon. It's all about kind of gender equality and bringing people together to realize that if the population's 50% female, then we should be represented everywhere, really, and we have not been represented everywhere. So 50-50 days kind of looking at gender and race, and are we including people the way we should? And are we looking at that, or are we just kind of going along like we've been in a very patriarchal way? And this 50-50 day video is very interesting because, first of all, you learn that there have been 50 women leaders. If you ask the average person on the street, how many female leaders have there been in just history? And most people would say 1, 2, 4, 5. There's been 50. So there's also this kind of lack of education that girls and boys and everyone needs to know there actually have been 50 female leaders who have, and we need to encourage that's not just a little passing thing. Do we still have a far way to go? Yes, we need more female leaders, but there have been 50. And that not only that there's been women in leadership, but that women should be on cabinets and women should be on committees and women should have equal pay to men. And that was an uncomfortable conversation to have with my kids. My son wanted to know, well, why would Coco make 77 cents of the dollar I make? He didn't understand why that is. And I said, you know what? I don't know why that is. I have no idea why that would be. But that's a hard conversation to have with kids, to make them understand things like there are inequalities still. Or people do kind of treat people sometimes badly that are other races because they're different, because they're afraid or whatever it is. So that's uncomfortable, but I think you need to say that so then when they see somebody treating somebody badly or seeing somebody that is not being treated equally or not being celebrated for their differences or their cultures, they can step in and say, oh, no, that's not right. I mean, you need them to know that that's not right. And so starting as early as possible is, I think, the way to do that.
Right on. You are hearing it from a warrior mom who has dedicated her life into fighting for justice, social justice, and peace. The two of us, we're not going to drop the ball. We got that PeaceLearning grit, right?
Yes.
So every day when we wake up, we're like, okay, how are we going to do something positive to press for progress? How are we going to move the ball a little closer forward? And it's just, it's this social responsibility. It's this grit, this passion for bringing justice and equality to everyone. It's otherwise. I think we would be ignorant. We would be living in ignorance, and I personally choose not to live in ignorance. And so I think just raising the bar for all moms. Let's start having those conversations on how and what. We've moved beyond awareness now. What are we doing? What are those actual actions? The actions that we're taking daily. This is daily. Are we speaking up? Like you said, are we educating our children to stand up for what's right? Are we showing them videos and making them more aware and educating them? Are we having those conversations, those tough conversations at the dinner table?
And sometimes you have to bring the news to the dinner table because, kids may not hear.
Yeah.
Because, us parents, we're not just putting on the news and letting them just watch all day because we know what we're going to see. So we kind of pick and choose. But one thing that I think is really good is to bring an article to the table or have them bring an article to the table, have them read something and say, here's an article, I want you to read this and let's talk about it at dinner. It really is great because they really engage. They really care. kids want to be involved. My son is obsessed with the news. I have to really like temper him. He wants to know what's going on in the world, and I think that's a great thing. Obviously, I don't want him to know everything all the time, but I do think that it's important that kids are involved and know what's happening in the news. We were talking about even like with all the school shootings. I mean, as much as we have differences and as much as we have political differences, and I know there's a lot of political differences right now, we can all agree that our children's safety is just, it's not politics, it's children being safe, and nobody wants children to get hurt. And I think that conversation, knowing that all moms, all dads, all kids are together when we say, we are going to keep kids safe. We are going to stop this, whatever way we have to stop it, whatever agreements we can make, but we're going to stop that. So having things like the walkouts and the marches, and I'm really inspired that kids are taking this on. Kids are finding I mean, you can't shield a kid anymore from these shootings. It's everywhere now. You can see it everywhere. I think that now they know. Now they know, wow, like what would if that could happen at my school, that could happen to me. What would I do? Parents are having tough conversations. So it's a new day. It's a new day. I feel like kids can get involved.
Yep.
You know, and I don't think it has to be scary.
Yeah.
I think it can be a peace
A
learning.
little risky, yeah.
I think it can be peace learning. I think you can say, you know, this is something that happened. Do we want it to happen? Are we afraid that, yes, that's makes us feel fear, but what can we do? How can we address it? What could happen? I mean, the first thing that my son asked was, he said, well, aren't you supposed to be, you know, a certain age to get a gun? Because he saw all the people that were doing the shootings were much younger, like 17 or 18 or 16. And I said, you know, and not everywhere. Some different states, they can get a gun if they're 16 and 15. And he was like, well, there's the first thing to fix. And I was like, okay.
There you go.
You know, I mean, I think that's a great fix. Other people would disagree, but, you know, but my point is it gets them thinking about what is that conversation? What could you do when you grow up? What kind of bills could you get passed and laws, and what kind of things could you be involved in to change things if you don't like the way things are going?
And it starts from the family. There's no better place to start it than the sort of that beautiful family structure. Because if moms and dads are conscious, aware, activists, you know, they care and they want to cultivate peace and peace learning, then we start at the home, at the family table, and we start with those conversations, those tough conversations that oftentimes actually, you know, I've been pleasantly surprised by how resilient kids are and quickly, you know, trying to come up with solutions and quickly trying to understand and make sense of the nonsensical, you know, situations. And they're really more capable of processing and understanding how they can be helpful, how they can cultivate empathy, kindness, because they are very conscious. And so it's worthwhile sometimes taking
that's what's
those
hard
risks.
too, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so if your argument is, well, I don't want to share those things with my kids, I understand that it's scary to just share things like that with kids, but they hear about it.
Right.
Because other kids at school are talking about it, or moms are talking about it, or you don't even know that you're talking about it. You're talking to your husband, and guess what? They can hear. And, you know, even if you just put on the TV for a second, it'll go by. You know, it comes up online, even if you're looking at your email, it'll come up online. So it's pretty hard to avoid things like that are going on. It's pretty hard to avoid it. So you might as well handle it the way you want it handled, right? Sit down with your family and, you know, and say, and talk about it, and even say, you know, what is your, you know, maybe you know this is happening. How do you feel about it? What do you think? You know, and let them lead the conversation, because really, I mean, they may be more worried or concerned than you even think. They may know more than you think. You think you're shielding them from it, but it's
and
out there.
oftentimes they
It's
do,
out there.
especially as they get older into middle school, oftentimes they do. They have a lot more information than you think, and to avoid the conversation leads to a space where the kids are isolated, and they have to kind of make sense and process it on their own, and oftentimes with their peers, where, you know, sometimes there's not good
misinformation,
and
or
a lot
or
more
just
anxiety
fear.
and fear.
Yeah, and they have no context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's easier to, you know, just be attuned to your child, and if you feel like there is an opportunity, a teachable moment for those peace learning conversations to occur, then take a risk. I know personally I'm much more likely, and I'm a psychologist, so I'm more on the conservative end, where you talk ages and stages that are appropriate, and you break down news that is appropriate. But in today's world, I have to say it's a very different world. This past year or two has been very chaotic, and so I'm more in the crisis sort of intervention mode, where I'm thinking, it's very likely, and I've been many times right on, in asking families and kids, what they know and what they've heard, and I work with a lot of families, so that the kids, especially because of social media, especially because of their access to, news, online news and technology, are overexposed. And so if we have children who are overexposed, and as young as 10, 11, 12, 13, then as parents and as educators, as clinicians, we have to be more proactive in helping them make sense out of this chaotic world.
Yeah, truthfully, I mean, not talking about it, to me, would cause
be negligent.
extreme anxiety in a child. If you think about it, I mean, you almost think, oh, if I bring this topic up, it's going to be so scary and it's going to cause anxiety. But no, it's actually the not talking about it, like knowing that it's going on,
and the fantasy,
and we're just not
the
addressing it.
And,
we're not talking about it. I mean, it's almost like just ignoring, the obvious. I feel like, I mean, of course, if they're 6 and 7 years old, you got to tread lightly. 8 years old, it's hard. You don't want them to not sleep at night. But at the same time, you also want your kids to be safe. I mean, I think it's healthy to go over with kids. Okay, if something happened on your campus, what would you do? Let's come up with a family plan of how we handle emergencies, right? And we just don't know when an emergency is going to be. I always tell my kids, I always talk about, you would think I'm an insurance salesman the way I talk about this. It's so funny. But the way I kind of talk about things that are accidents, or like car accidents even, I just say, that's why we have insurance. That's why we have insurance. You hurt yourself, you break your arm. It's okay. That's why we have insurance. I always say that to kids, and it's almost like this family plan, or coming up with a way that you would say, okay, if this happens, now you can't always follow it, but if something happened, here's what mommy will do, here's what daddy's going to do, here's what we're going to do, here's what you're going to do, and so we all know the plan.
Beautiful.
That at least adds a little feeling of, I feel like, comfort and safety, in a world that is not feeling so comfy and safe right now.
Sure. Yeah. I love it, and I think good schools are doing it. There's always that community-based intervention, or talking about the plan and safety plans,
having drills, and we've had many drills.
Being really organized at home, at school, having a really tight communication between home and school, and just as a community being aware and proactive about it. So I think it's very, very important.
And
to
are
have
you
this
going to engage and take part in the walkout, which is, I think, when is the walkout? I think it's
so the walkout.
Is it tomorrow? No.
Well, on the 14th, some schools will participate in a walkout. So March 14th is one. You kind of have to be connected to your community and aware of what your community's decided to do. I know in our community, our school community, on Monday, the 12th, they decided to walk out, but it was for kindness, empathy, and cultivation of kindness. So in honoring that and helping children sort of internalize the value of kindness, 17 students got up and they shared their experience of kindness, or what kindness meant to them. And this was also to honor the 17 students from Florida.
That's wonderful.
So there is this
that was the way you interpreted
unique
event, right.
way that every school has decided to participate in a way to join this movement for bringing change for healthier and safer schools. And so I would suggest that you look into your school and what your school's plans are, and your community. Frankly, I think reaching out to friends and students.
Yeah, because there's also the march on the 24th.
Right,
I think a lot of people are going to, some schools I know are not participating.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I understand some principals are a little, they don't want to, get involved in that. But All schools are addressing it in one way or another. I do know that. What's been happening in the world, most schools are addressing it, whether that means hard conversations, assemblies, lockdown drills, like different ways that people are dealing with it. Some people may not want to, like schools may not want to engage in a walkout. I mean, your school interpreted it in, I think, a beautiful way. But everybody can take place, kids and families, in the marches that are on March 24th, if you can be there. So that's a way to kind of do it. And you can also go with a group of friends and bring your kids. And I mean, even the Women's March was, I mean, I brought my daughter. It was very kind. It was loving. There was just tons of women there, and everybody, I mean, they were big crowds, and people were like, oh, here, going this way. I mean, people were so respectful and so nice. We ended up eating lunch with a bunch of like women we didn't even know, all these warrior moms and warrior women out there marching. So I think it's kind of also a good feeling when you come together. It's nonviolent. You know, we're coming together. We're saying we don't like this. We want to change it. And you know, when you see other people that agree, and you see this big crowd of people, it's very inspiring. Yeah, it is. To say like, we all agree. We need to change this. Yeah,
it's inspiring, and it helps us also have those belly-to-belly experiences, and you know, be seen and see others. And
stand up and raise your voice.
Yeah, stand up and raise your voice. Yeah, right on, which is something that our youth have really stepped up and are showing a lot of leadership, which is fantastic.
I think that's been almost one of the most exciting things to come out of all of this.
So exciting.
Is you now see these teenagers who maybe before felt like they didn't have a voice or they didn't know what to say. Now they are like, oh my gosh, some of these teenagers are incredible. How well spoken they are, talking about how they are not going to stand it for a minute longer. They're not going to have violence in their schools. They're not going to see one more school shooting, one more child shot, and they don't care what they have to do. They're going to stop it. So I'm really inspired by the fact that the youth are not going to let anybody get away. We're going to have to change some laws. We're going to have to make some changes. That's just, I think that's going to have to happen.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts, as my mom would say. We have reached that
We've reached
wall,
critical mass. Right? We are there.
Big time.
Yes.
And so enough is enough. Time is now. And we are just so full-heartedly moving forward. And I think as warrior moms, and peace learning leaders, we got to like stand behind and support the youth who are marching and leading this movement.
Yes, we do.
So we got to show
and
up.
share their message and share their story. I've been sharing on Facebook these amazing like speakers, these teen speakers who are coming to they're showing up at the capitals. They're speaking out. And my gosh, I mean, it's just like, it brings tears to my eyes thinking about how passionate they are and how much they have at stake. These are their friends. Their friends are dying. So they are not going to do it anymore. They really are not.
So let's all stand with them. And I know it's Nowruz, it's spring. This is the very special time of the year, especially for our Iranian American community or Iranian community everywhere throughout the world. I know another very, very beautiful movement that is now happening by the youth in Iran is the unveiling of the mandatory hijab.
Oh my gosh, yes. Please tell everybody about that, because I feel like not everybody knows. So I want to know more about that.
So in Iran and the Middle East, the women and the young women, especially the youth, are saying no to the violation of their human rights. So this forced mandatory hijab, where they have to cover up their hairs and their bodies and wear this really tight attire, they're saying no to, and they're saying enough. They want to be free, they want to have freedom just like the men, and they don't want to put up with Sharia laws and some of the more extremist Muslims who are in power of leadership in the region. And so they started with the first young mom, actually. She was a young mom. Vida Movahed, she went on this beautiful sort of stand, which is in the corner of the Revolution Street, Khiyabun Enqilab, the Revolution Street, and just stood there peacefully and unveiled her white scarf. So she was in support of the White Wednesdays, which was a movement cultivated and supported by Masih Alinejad, who's, she's been guiding the youth and the women to take on, wearing something white or saying no to mandatory hijab.
Right.
But she was the brave one who did and stood there and took off her scarf, white scarf, put it on a stick, and just stood there with the stick and the scarf. And sure enough, the guards, took her to prison, and she was separated from her 19-month-old baby.
Oh my goodness!
And just more violations of human rights. And then the women have been all over, not just in Iran, but in Turkey and the region, just standing and being united with the women who are saying no to these laws that violate human rights and women's rights. And so it is, I think, our global duty and global citizenship duty to stand with these women who really are risking their lives. They're risking their lives and taking such huge steps towards progress and pressing for progress. Speaking of action, that is really meaningful. They're taking action. And I think the media ought to just really get behind them.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I've heard enough about this. I have to say, I haven't seen this in the media to the level I think that we should. I mean, obviously, there's something going on in the world right now. Women are taking charge. I mean, with Time's Up and with everything else. I think women are really finally saying, we are not going to sit back and just take it anymore. We want to be free. We want to have equal rights. We want to have a voice. And people are now getting very brave and taking action and showing up. And I'm incredibly inspired. I mean, that is an amazing, amazing thing. We need to support them, and I want to see more about that.
Yeah. So
I mean,
the
I
warrior
feel like
moms
we need to get involved.
Yeah, we'll have maybe have Masih.
I would love for you to write for that also.
I would love to write for it.
For the
but Masih Alinejad, she's leading the movement here, abroad, and she would be a great author to have for the warrior moms.
Oh, I would love to have her.
For her to blog for you. But yeah, so we got to spread the word across, especially the non-Persian community. The Europeans, the Canadians, the Americans, the UN women, anywhere and anyone who has heard this story and is inspired. We got to join forces, and we got to uprise, and we got to stand together, because there's no more sort of secrecy and trying to suppress and just get away with violations of human rights anymore. Technology will spread it. These the youth, have access to technology. They're recording these violations of human rights. They're sharing it with human rights watchdogs and everywhere around the world. So you can no longer hide and get away with these severe violations of human rights.
But you're right. The world needs to get involved, because what takes sometimes, obviously, is that in a country, in a little town, when there's outrageous things happening, sometimes they just keep happening.
Yeah.
But when the world sees, when it becomes a world issue, a women's issue, a human rights issue, then that's the tipping point, right? That's when things can really happen.
So let's make that our Press for Progress work this Nowruz, and let's bring peace for the youth, especially women in Iran who are fighting for their lives and saying no to mandatory hijab. That's a strong message that we can spread and show unity, with the warrior moms, the media, and all over the world.
That's the ultimate warrior mom.
Yep, the ultimate warrior mom.
She's the ultimate warrior mom.
Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye. Peace.